It's 11:37. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk on Salam Media with me, Mari Makwanda. Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism. Well, if you are someone who sleeps in one room and wake up in another room because of sleepwalking, then you are not alone. According to a study conducted by Stanford University's School of Medicine, about 8.4 million people, or about 3.6% of the population, are prone to sleepwalking. Episodes of sleepwalking are most likely to occur a few hours after falling asleep. And to tell us more, we have sleep and wellness expert JD Uys from Arkle Sleep Health Clinic. Good morning, JD, and thank you for joining me.
Morning, Miriam, and to your listeners.
All right, so JD, what is sleepwalking or somnambulism?
So you explained it quite well. It is not very common. It is described what we call a parasomnia or
Mm,
somnambulism, which basically means that while people are asleep, they get up during sleep and walk around. It is similar than night terrors, okay, but in sleepwalking, the person is relatively calm. They don't know that they are doing it. They do not have any memory about it. So they get up and walk around. They may sit up in bed, and they have like a glassy eyed expression in their eyes, and they don't know what's going on. It is more prevalent in children than in adults. And also, it is also, people have a family history of it usually.
mhm,
So that is in short what somnambulism or sleepwalking is.
mhm,
Just for interest's sake, it's much more. It happens much more in children. So about 15% of children between ages of 5 to 12 go through a period of sleepwalking.
mhm. So, are there any known causes for sleepwalking?
Well, you mentioned Stanford University a little while ago, and they've been looking at it for quite a while. If we consider the importance, I spoke to this in the past with you guys as well. The most
Mhm,
important sleep phases is REM sleep and deep sleep. And why I say this is because during the first part of the night, we tend to, especially children, tend to have much more deep sleep or slow wave sleep. And the latter part of the night, we have much more REM sleep. And
mhm,
when we consider when sleepwalking occurs, sleepwalking usually occurs during the first part of the night. So it happens during deep sleep or slow wave sleep. And that is
mhm,
not a dream sleep. Remember, people who are sleepwalking are not dreaming. They cannot um, remember anything about the sleepwalking. So that misconception of that people who walk are actually dreaming, we can rest assured they are definitely not dreaming. So to answer your question in what it causes, it is usually caused by what we call, as far as we know now, according to the Stanford University studies and other studies as well, we are pretty sure that it is caused by neurotransmitters, specifically what we call GABA or gamma aminobutyric acid. And that GABA neurotransmitter blocks, it's supposed to block movement. It blocks other signals, other brain signal that causes us to be awake and to move around. So we tend to think that there may be something wrong in our brains
mhm,
where the GABA neurotransmitter is not working as it's supposed to work. Okay. In children, however, we are pretty sure that, remember, children are growing up and their brains are developing, and it is just a way of their brains learning how to adapt to GABA and how to include it in their growing up process and so on. So we are pretty sure it's caused by GABA, the neurotransmitter GABA, um, and it is usually sleepwalking is not usually dangerous. In terms of it won't kill anybody. It's much more traumatic for the parents or the people in the household or in the family who who sees someone in their family who sleepwalks, which can be quite upsetting for them. So in terms of causes, it is a neurodysfunction. It is in adulthood. It is linked to sometimes it's linked to Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease, and we also think that it is also caused by other underlying sleep conditions. When people are not getting enough sleep, or sleep apnea, or any other um, sleep disorder that is underlying,
Hmm.
that may also cause it.
Hmm. So the sleepwalker is unaware of their surroundings and what they do. So this means that they can't really see you if because they are unaware of them being
Totally unaware. So, how to handle that is there's a bit of a many people say wake the person up and send them back to bed. Other
mm,
people say don't wake the person up. In terms of adulthood and children, if you catch your family member, whoever it is, sleepwalking, just gently guide them back to bed. Okay, it's not
mhm,
necessary to wake them up. They don't know about it. They are actually still asleep. Okay, they are, believe it or not. But you can just guide them back to bed gently, and then put them back to bed, and hopefully they will fall asleep. We can just also make the environment safe. You get many sleepwalkers. I know of a few cases where we treated people with sleepwalking, especially children, where a little 8-year-old boy, for instance, he stole his parents' car. He literally got the
wow.
keys and got into a car, and another child actually left the house, and he was outside in the road, in the street, busy walking around at about 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. So just make the environment safe for your family members, and make sure that they don't hurt themselves.
Mm,
Yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question correctly.
mhm.
What people don't know about when they are sleepwalking, or the victims, the patient.
I actually want to know if sleepwalking is accompanied by talking. Like, can people actually have a conversation with you while they're sleepwalking, which would kind of make you think, like, are they really sleeping or are they still
Mm.
awake? But hold that
So
thought. We're going to take a quick break and
okay,
we'll
cool.
continue
Okay,
thereafter.
fantastic.
We can't help all of them, but what if we each helped just one? The Al Imdad Foundation now gives you an opportunity to help just one orphan from Syria or Palestine. For just 500 Rand per month, you can help safeguard the dignity of an orphan by assisting them with basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and attention. Our orphan sponsorship program allows you to track the progress of your orphan through regular feedback. Make a difference in the life of an orphan today. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world where institutions held the all important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Africa.
Did you know a sponsored water well and borehole allows children to go back to school, empowers communities, and is a means of sadaqah jariyah? There are many villages in Africa and Afghanistan that are in need of water wells and boreholes. Sponsor a water well in Africa at 14,500 rand, or a borehole in Africa and Afghanistan at 49,500 rand. Call Africa Muslims Agency on 011 834 8685 or donate at Africa Muslims Agency. .co.za. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
We are talking sleepwalking today, and if you have experienced sleepwalking, if you know someone who sleepwalks, or if you are a sleepwalker, then listen up, because this might be some useful information. And still with me is JD Uys from Arkle Sleep Health Clinic. JD, thank you for staying on the line now. I know you wanted to make your comment, and I had to cut you off there quickly. Now, sleepwalking, can it be accompanied by sleep talking or talking?
I can, yeah, I can hear you, Mariam. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes, I
Fantastic.
can.
Okay, so if as far as I remember, your question was, is sleepwalking the same as the sleep eating and the it is the same. It's also classified as parasomnias.
Mm-hmm.
It is similar, or we think that the pathophysiology is the same as the sleep eaters and the sleep talkers, and so on. We all just express it in different ways. So it is a similar type of I don't want to call it a disease. I want to call it a phenomenon, but it's not really a disease or anything like that. If you
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right. So, because I mean, it can come across as weird. I mean, somebody
It
sleepwalks, and
is.
then the next thing you're having a conversation with the person who's actually sleeping, and you're like, okay, what just happened?
Yeah. And it's quite fun sometimes, from a fun point of view. It's quite fun to have a conversation with someone who sleep talks. It can be quite funny sometimes. So
Unfortunately, our cameras are not on standby.
okay, so just on that note,
Mhm.
if we can quickly talk about the symptoms,
Yes.
and how we treat it, in terms of diagnosis and everything. So obviously, the to figure out if someone is sleepwalking, let's use sleepwalking as an example. It's not very difficult. The person wakes up, they walk around in their sleep in the first part of the night, okay, not the latter part of the night, during the first part of the night. And to figure out if they are awake or not, especially in children, it usually also co-occurs with what we call night terrors in children. They wake up, and this is very distressing for parents. The children wake up screaming and absolutely terrified.
Mm.
That can classify that as a night terror. But if you look closer, you can see they either their eyes are closed, or if their eyes are open, they've got this glazy expression on their face, which should indicate that they are not awake.
Mm.
Remember, the good thing is that they don't remember it, so they're not traumatized by it. But it can cause some daytime effectiveness. So people who are sleepwalkers are usually, or they may be tired during the day. They may suffer from what we call excessive daytime sleepiness. Also, their sleep routine, especially in children, may not be as it's supposed to be. They have a variable sleep routine and so on. And that is basically how we diagnose it.
Mhm.
They may not respond when you communicate with them. So if you see someone sleepwalking, you're talking to them, they may not respond to you, and it may be difficult to wake them up. So we tend to think I usually advise, don't wake the person up, just guide them back to bed. They may be disorientated or confused when they wake up. They don't know where they are, they don't know what's going on, and that then you also should know that they were probably sleepwalking, and they don't know anything about it in the morning. So if you discuss it with them the next morning, they will probably think that you're lying to them, or whatever the case may be. So they won't recall any of it, any sleepwalking the next morning when they wake up. And then because of the tiredness, they may have problems functioning the next day up to their optimum performance. So those are basically the normal how we diagnose sleepwalking, which is very easy to do at home.
All right, now, is there any treatment available for sleepwalking, or is it just, just don't wake the person up and direct them back to bed?
Yeah, so let's talk about these two types of treatment. Obviously, the treatment that you can do at home, not treatment, but home remedies. Obviously, we discussed the first one first, and that is make the environment safe and gently guide them back to bed. And the other important fact, especially in children, and this is something that I feel quite passionately about, children today do not get enough sleep. So it's adequate sleep time is important. And now, if I can just stick on that note for a bit, I just want to, if your listeners can just take note of what I'm about to say now, is I'm going to read out the sleep times that children need. Okay, the amount of sleep time that children need. Toddlers, babies will sleep automatically, but toddlers from 1 to 2 years old should sleep between 11 and 14 hours every day. Okay. Preschool children between 3 and 5 years old should sleep between 10 and 13 hours, 13, 1, 3. And then where we see the most sleep pathology in children is between school going ages, which is from 6 years up to 18 years. So from primary school level, 6 to 12 years old, they should sleep. Child in primary school should sleep no less than 9 hours. No less than 9 hours. I'm going to say it again. They should sleep no less than 9 hours. And then secondary school children from 13, 14 and upwards should sleep no less than 8 hours of sleep. Okay. So we get usually what we see in practice is primary school children that sleep way less than 9 hours. They sleep 6 hours, sometimes some even 5 hours, and that is just not right. We understand, the pressures of life, but this is a discussion also on its own. The more we sleep, the better we can perform the next day, and the quicker we can do tasks. In terms of other, so sleep routine, sleep time, adequate sleep is important. And then what we call the 3 pillars of health. So if we sleep, it's important to put stress, to manage stress, and we can do that via praying, exercising, and handling stress. Stress must be under control, and then that is also something that we can do. And then also, what I just want to also note is which is very practical, especially in children and in adulthood. Okay, both sleepwalkers. Try to get a routine, especially in children. Try to just keep a little note in a notebook on when the child or the person wakes up and go for his walking in sleep, his sleepwalking routine. Try to figure out when that happens. And then what we can do is we can literally, in children, it's more easy because they should be asleep by then, and while we should still be relatively awake. Just set an alarm or just wake the child up about an half an hour before, about 15 minutes, half an hour before they are probably going to sleepwalk. And then you just wake them up. You can take them to the toilet, for instance, just slightly wake them up and then let them fall back to sleep again. Um, then it should cure that. It should, because what we usually get is parents are tired as well. The bed partners or the family members are tired as well because they usually children wake their parents up while they are sleepwalking. So we get that the parents are tired during the day. So it will help when we can get a type of routine when the people or when the family member are sleepwalking, and just wake them up briefly for a couple of minutes before they actually, so that we can go back to sleep
Mm-hmm.
and not worry about a person walking around and stealing your car keys and running away, for instance, or something. So that's the home remedies what we can do. In terms of medical help or clinical help, obviously there are lots of these treatment, like some medications may help, like a benzodiazepine or even antidepressants. That will depend on the neurologist or the family doctor that will see you. Whatever is indicated, there's usually underlying condition or a cause. For instance, high stress levels or anxiety, and then therapy and counseling can work for that. But it's very important to dig deeper and get to the bottom of what is causing the sleepwalking, what's underlying, and then treat that. For instance, sleep apnea. For instance, we can also adjust medication if a patient is on medication already, and then you know. Uh, the combination of these therapies will usually help. I must also just say, in pediatric cases or in children should outgrow it after about 12 years old. They should outgrow it by themselves. As their brains learn to develop a normal sleep physiology or
Mm-hmm.
neurophysiology. So that in terms of what we can do, the main issue is just stay calm. If a family member sleepwalks, just stay calm. It's not serious in terms of the patient is not in immediate danger if
Mm-hmm.
the environment is safe. Just stay calm, gently guide him back to bed, put him back to bed or her back to bed or whatever the case may be, but the most important thing is don't panic. If it happens more than 3 times a week, it's probably safe to consult with a neurologist and discuss the problem with a neurologist or your family doctor. Um, but the neurologist will probably they deal with these sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get a sleep study may be indicated, what we call a level 1 sleep study, where a person will sleep in a sleep laboratory to see what's happening. The down part of that is that night that the patient is admitted into a sleep lab, he may sleep normally. We don't know when it usually occurs, when sleepwalking
Mm-hmm.
will occur. So that's why if you go
All
to
right.
your family doctor, just keep as much information as possible in terms of when does it happen, what time of the night it happens, frequency in terms of how many times per week and for how long. You know,
Mm.
since when did it start and what's happening. You can even take a few videos as well, on your
All right.
cell phone.
Okay,
Okay.
JD, that's all the time that we have today. But
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for joining me once again and for giving us insight on sleepwalking. I know now I'm not gonna worry if I see my daughter waking up and just standing there because it's nothing to worry about. Thank you so much.
No,
Have a wonderful day.
thank you. You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. JD Ace from Arkle Sleep Health taking us through sleepwalking or somnambulism. If you'd like to contact him for any other sleeping disorders, you can send a message to 082 560 6872 or send a WhatsApp or give him a call on that number. Again, 082 560 6872. You are listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media.